Hanuman, Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram, Hanuman, 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 Jai Shri Ram.
Ram Guruji,
Namaste.
thank you for giving your time again. Thank you for sitting with me and having this podcast again. I'm very grateful. I was grateful for the first time also, and then the second
Yeah, it
time.
was a great podcast last time.
Really, I mean, there were people commenting, and if you see the comment section, they were actually very grateful also. They were like, this is some real knowledge that we got, and we would want, like, more of it. So,
Sure.
there are so many people confused about food these days.
Okay.
So, I thought that food is something that is a great topic to talk about to the audience also.
Great. I know quite a bit about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you are somebody who is the right person to ask because you have worked on it in your life and you have seen results in your life and you have seen now you teach your students and people in your
That's right.
I have learned a lot about food from you just by watching your videos, correcting my lifestyle habits and then seeing the results also,
Yes.
right? So we'll talk about food because somehow in modern day humanity, in modern life, food is very fundamental, but still people are extremely confused about the fundamentals as with all other fundamentals in life.
Okay, no one's focused on it, so I'm happy to do it. Let's do it.
So what would you say that real nourishment is?
Electrons. Because we are an electrical device. Do you know that? Our human body is an electrical device. It runs on electricity. So there are several ways to get electrons and food is one of them. There are many ways to get electrons, like from the earth itself. Grounding yourself, if you walk barefoot on a trek, you won't need food. Because you'll be getting so many electrons from the earth as you travel through it. And basically, if there's a good magnetic field, electrons flow. So everything flows, you know that, right? If there's a magnetic field and you keep a conductor in the field, then there'll be a flow of electrons continuously in it.
Correct.
So it's similarly how it works. Every mitochondria has a certain spin. It creates a magnetic field. And that magnetic field, because the mitochondria is a hydrophilic substance, it pulls the water so hard that its charges get separated. And it forms something called an exclusion zone around it. And that creates a further potential difference. And then there's a flow of electrons through the mitochondria, which it uses to produce. There's a flow of electrons and protons in it. It's a proton pump, and there's also an electron transfer chain within the mitochondria. So it's a very sophisticated electrical device which gives us our energy. And if you have mitochondria, that electricity that it produces can do the effects of the minerals, the vitamins and stuff that you don't get in your diet.
Correct.
So if you concentrate on increasing your energy, which is what the yogis do, Pran Shakti is the same thing. You don't need that much of a great nutrition. You can eat junk food and still be all right. So, or you can just totally stop eating as well. I've done that for several years. I didn't eat. I didn't have to because I had so much electrons. That time I didn't know all the science. I thought, itna sadhana karna padta hai. I have to do so much sadhana to not eat. I might as well eat, I thought. Stupidity. Because I didn't realize the value of it. But I don't regret like eating because I love food. I love the taste and no electrons can make the taste for you. But every bit of health that you're missing today is because your electrical field is dropping. And if your electrical field is kept high, then there's no problem. So let's look at two things. What leaks your electrons from your body and what adds electrons to your body. You should do more of the add and less of the leak. It's not possible to completely avoid the leaks.
Correct.
But
I tried that. It's not possible.
it's not possible because your neighbors and everyone has to cooperate. The whole city has to cooperate.
Correct.
Okay, one of the ways you leak electrons is when you start getting artificial light at night. You use up more electrons because that is putting you into a state of being like mid-afternoon. Especially if you go to a restaurant or you go out into the mall or some other place, horribly brightly lit places in the night, your body is going to get confused. It's going to produce hormones as if it's daytime. It's going to consume electrons as if it's daytime. And then you'll feel a crash the next day. And if you do this consistently for 1 month, you'll crash for like another month. And if you do this consistently for 1 year, you'll have a big chronic disease. So half of Mumbai has chronic disease because they leak all their electrons in the night. And the second thing is nobody gets sun. Sun is the biggest source of electrons and the earth. Nobody walks barefoot on the earth in the sun half naked like me. Then nobody's stopping me while they stop you. Okay? So you just have to make sure that you get sun and earth. I don't care where you live on earth. Don't forget. Because people forget to live on earth, okay? It's easy to forget. You can be in Mars, you might as well be in Mars. Like you go from one box, your house, to another box, car, another box, your cubicle. You come back to the car and come back to your, what is this
Yeah,
life?
it's like rats, a bunch of rats in boxes.
Yeah,
Then-
it is slavery, you know. Naukar is the word for servant. Naukari is the word for job. What does it tell you? So why do you want to be someone's servant? If you got together with the people in your community, you can make sure your community is financially self-sustained. It's not difficult. And I don't mean your family. I mean people who are like-minded in your community who you have access to. And today with the internet, that community can be across cities.
Correct.
Like how it is, many of my acharyas who teach at our akhada, they're all over the world. So I have like 18, 19 batches running and everyone needs coaching. They need a proper yoga instructor who's trained to train them. So these acharyas are all over the place, but we're all working together and we're all making money and we're all sustained. None of us are in a job, you know. I mean, it is like a company, the yoga outfit that I run, it's a foundation, but it's a non-profit. So we need to do those government compliances, but we need to make our life like a job. It's just not necessary. If you have Slack, you can coordinate anything from anywhere in the world. You don't have to go to an office. So a lot of people are just losing energy in doing things they don't want to do. Why does that happen? Because you get a lot of emotions. And emotions are energy costly. They leak electrons from your body. You're not supposed to put your body through emotions because those are for emergencies. You're not supposed to have them on a daily basis. If you have sadness on a daily basis, then your body is going to collapse after some time because it's going to lose electrons. On top of that, if you use Bluetooth devices, that leaks electrons. Like, I know two people in the recent past who got problems because of Bluetooth device and nothing else they're doing wrong. One guy wearing it all the time, he got brain tumor, and he's my student also. Now I'm helping him to recover. And another person, an acquaintance of mine, he got a blood clot in his heart, and because of wearing this Bluetooth device like this all the time. If you always have something plugged in, if someone's always talking in your head, you don't notice what's happening, or you don't notice the birds, you don't notice the roar of the Ganga, you don't notice anything.
Correct.
What will you notice? So I don't think it's a good idea to keep headphones. Like, you know how I treat my phone? Like an untouchable. Like I would want to cleanse myself after I use my phone. I'll go and stand on the ground for some time after I use my phone if I have to make a call or something, or any Bluetooth device or whatever. You know, there are ways. Like, what will I do after we do this podcast? Because we're using the mic, I'll go sit on a tree there. That's really good, sitting on trees. So this whole morning I was sitting on the tree with all the bandars. They were there with me. And they took 2 bananas also. They brought my breakfast and then they took my 2 bananas. I didn't get bananas for breakfast. So these kind of enjoyable moments spent in nature is what recharges you. And then you feel younger and younger and younger as the days go by. You know, you start transforming in your body and mind, and you start thinking in joyful ways. That's an indication of high electrons. When we come to food, there are a lot of things, dirty things in food, starting from pesticides. We can go on arguing against pesticides and say, why can't everyone go organic? But it's not possible to grow organic at such a large scale. Then people will be hungry and dying. But I'm telling you, even if you eat pesticide food, if you're getting enough electrons, your body knows how to deal with it. This is what I found out. This is basically it. And the biggest loss of electrons, what happens, especially in India, not here in the mountains, but down in the plains, is that the water is heavy with, I mean, it's got a lot of heavy water.
Correct.
The percentage of deuterium is like parts per million. It should be below 125, but it's way like 140, 150 in India. So that is messing people up. And then on top of that, there's a lot of advice to eat fruits and to have a lot of water, which is not a good way to get your water. Water is not a good way to get your water in India because it gives you a lot of deuterium. And that deuterium, in the proton pump in the mitochondria, deuterium is like double the size of hydrogen. When it tries to go down the same proton pump, it damages the mitochondria.
It is a hydrogen isotope.
It's a hydrogen isotope. So hydrogen is just one proton. A hydrogen ion is just one proton. But a deuterium ion has a neutron along with it. So it's double the weight. And that thing is damaging the mitochondria. So people who have a lot of deuterium, it's the leading cause for cancer. And there is research about it. And this is not something you have to argue about because there's enough research about how deuterium is one of the largest growth factors. Because it kills the mitochondria, it allows cancer to grow. And another of those growth factors is EMF, like electromagnetic frequencies like Wi-Fi, 5G and all that. If you want to protect yourself from all that, you need an infinite source of electrons. What is the most infinite source of electrons? It's Nadi Shodhan Pranayam. Sit on the ground, connect yourself completely to the ground. Like just think that I am electrically connected to the core of the earth. I am also electrically connected to the apex of the sky. Like there is an ionosphere in the sky and we are connected to it. There is a conduction which is happening through sun's rays and all sorts of ways. So say I'm connected to electrons from above, I'm connected to electrons from below. Father sky, mother earth, we see it as two forms of Kali, Akash Kali, Prithvi Kali, or Bhudevi and Bhuvaneshwari. You see it however you want. But we sit here between these two polarities of earth and sky and we do Nadi Shodhan. Like my students can just open a nostril and breathe, but most people can't do that. If we are doing Nadi Shodhan, nobody even knows, right? I can open my left nostril, breathe in, I can open my right and breathe out. I can breathe in from my right and breathe out to the left. Nadi Shodhan is basically, for those who don't know, I know you know, for your prana going in from the left nostril, which means all the electrons are being swirled around and pulled in, and they go all the way down into the body. They go do their cycle and they come back up through the right outside, swirling out, and then goes in from the right and goes out from the left. So the electrical pathways in our body are called nadis, and one of the electrical pathways is called Sushumna Nadi, which is right in the center. Another important pathway is called Ida Nadi. Ida Nadi starts on your right toe. It starts on your right toe, it goes in, follows your inner thigh, comes up, crosses over at your navel, and comes to the left side, comes all the way up here, goes around the ear, and touches the nostril, left nostril, goes into your eye, goes through your eyebrow to the top of your head, and then comes down the center of the back, and then ends at your Muladhar, which is your pelvic floor. That's the
You
Ida
like
Nadi.
almost feel it
Felt it?
also
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
really want
If
to.
you take your mind along it, you'll feel the
Yeah,
electricity.
that's
Okay.
what.
You do the same with the
And
other
it's
son.
somehow pleasurable. Like
It is. It is. Because the Muladhar is your sexual energy.
yeah, so I was feeling pleasure as like I was following.
Yeah. It feels very nice and it feels orgasmic afterward if you do good Nadi Shodhan. Okay. And the Pingala Nadi is similarly starting from the big toe. It's going from the left big toe and then it goes up like that, crosses over to the right, comes up here, goes around the breast and then comes up here, comes around the ear, goes to the nose, goes up, goes all the way down and comes down to the Muladhara. Now the Muladhara is like a sea of electrons, a sea of electrons. And over here, there's something very special. On the top of your head, there is a magnetic field which can get converted into electricity anytime. So we call it ice in yoga.
Okay.
We call this the snow. Okay. So the snow melts and then the electrons flow down all the way to the feet. And that nadi is called Chitra Nadi. Chitra Nadi is like jatas, it comes all over the body. It goes like squiggly waves all around the body in every part, even inside. So Chitra Nadi brings these electrons down and our breath takes it up to the Mula. You see these pathways?
Okay.
They take the breath from the feet and it goes up to the Mula. So when you breathe from the left nostril, you're pulling on the left side. I mean, right foot to left side. You're pulling electrons up all the way down to the Mula. And then you breathe out from your right. When you breathe out from your right, you're letting go of protons, which you don't need. And then when you breathe in through the right, you're pulling in electrons again, it goes to your Mula. When you breathe out to your left, you're letting go of protons that you don't need. But by shifting your breath from one side to the other, either to the Pingala, that creates magnetism inside your body because electricity flowing into alternate channels starts to create a magnetic field around you. And that magnetic field is a toroid, which starts to get created because of these electrical channels. And so, you know what a toroid is, right? It's like an apple.
I was imagining oval.
Like if you cut a hole right through the center of the apple and remove its core, then
Okay.
that's the toroid.
Okay, like this.
That's a toroid.
So how we draw magnetic fields in science classes, like
Yeah,
this.
something like that. So toroidal means it's wider at the center, near the navel it's wide, and it gets smaller as it goes up. And then it's hollow, and then it comes down like that. So it's creating this big magnetic field that we have. It's a very weak magnetic field. But in terms of gauss, it's weak, but in terms of size, it's big. And just the magnetic field from your heart can extend to around 25 feet,
Wow.
which means we have the capacity to sense it electronically. We have the capacity to sense another person electronically. And that's how we know whether we're attracted or repelled or
Yeah,
we wanna-
it happens. Like some people, when they walk into the room, other people might not notice them, but you would notice them
Is it magnetic?
because it happens with me a lot.
Yeah.
Because people are just automatically like this, or they just there is some pull,
Yeah, yeah.
and nobody teaches us about all this, so we don't understand this.
So just take your hand here, you'll feel the magnetism. Just, this is a big magnetic field above. You can just like roll and you'll feel up to a span above your head. This is called Nirvana Chakra, this whole place. This is where we bless people. This is where we give Diksha,
Correct.
Shaktipat. So 5 siddhas will put the hand above you and give Diksha. They'll say the mantra and send electrons into you. And that's when you get, wow. Many people have even orgasms during that.
Yeah.
Because it goes to the moola and it's like so much energy. Like, whoa, what's going on? So there's a big pumping that happens through the body. And that's when the person has got Shaktipat and his Kundalini is awakened. Where there's a permanent flow of energy right through the center. So Shumna Nadi started conducting electrons. That makes you immortal. Because you don't need food after that, once this is done.
Because it does feel very mechanical food after a while. You start, if you really are a little conscious, which is what happened with me, I started to feel that why am I feeding myself? What is the need to feed continuously? Like ye
Because
khana hai,
we're
ye
losing
khana hai.
electrons. That's where we get the need for food. So food, if you want to eat electron-rich food, you have to eat fat. More than protein, more than carbohydrate, fat creates not only good mitochondrial water for you, it creates a maximum number of electrons. So I'm talking about saturated fats, coconut oil and ghee. Everything they've told you is bad for you, right?
Yeah.
Bad for your heart. It's
Yeah.
actually good. So paneer and all of these kind of things, any saturated fat is good for you because it is a good source of electrons. And in fact, I don't drink more than 1 liter of water per day nowadays to avoid the deuterium. But I eat a lot of fat.
So that is replenishing your Water, yeah.
and it's replenishing my water all the time. So I'm well hydrated. My eyes are well hydrated. My throat is wet. I can sleep and wake up. Another way people lose electrons is mouth breathing when they sleep. This is how people breathe when they sleep. They snore. They get the mouth real open, and they all dry in the morning when they lost electrons. So
Yeah, you get dry lips also,
yeah,
right, in the morning.
if you're getting dry anywhere, you're losing electrons, and your water charge is falling in your body. So it's not able to hydrate. All of the hydration in our little capillaries is done electrically. The red blood cell is fatter than the smallest capillary, and still it takes oxygen to every part of your body. How? It folds. What folds it? The electrical field in
Yeah,
what?
because it creates that channel. So
In
it
these
has to
channels.
hold, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's the nadis. The way electricity flows. Electricity flows in the blood. So most of the nadis correspond to the blood, how it flows. And lymph. Lymph is also electrically activated. Nobody knew how the blood comes up back. Who's pumping it back? They say heart is pumping it down. How's it coming back? Like, it was a big mystery. People like, yeah, it's the contraction of the calf muscles, and they were
What
coming up
about
with.
people who don't walk?
What are people without legs like?
Yeah.
Okay, so then everybody knew that their knowledge about it is not adequate, and so they kept researching, and they found out that it's electrically pumped back. Just like your water pump at home, you switch on the electricity and the motor turns and it comes up. Here, the conduction pathway is the potential differences, and that's how these charged blood particles, all of them come back. The charged water of the blood comes back to the heart. And the heart is not even a pump, it's a vortexer. You know what it does? It increases the electricity and sends it. And then it pulls it back. That's what happens. By the time it reaches the foot, then it gets pumped back by the vortexes in the calf muscle.
So it's like a flux. It's creating a flux.
It's
of-
creating a flux. The calf muscles create a flux which sends the blood back. Everyone knew it's the calf muscles, but if you don't have legs, then this part is doing that. Whatever the stub is creating a flux for you to get your blood back. So
That's now then this can be linked to the people having problems like varicose veins and
yeah,
like that.
varicose veins is just basically you not having enough electrons. There's nothing else.
Correct.
Even movement, physical movement, creates electric flux, which makes magnetic flux, which makes electrons move. Just even moving your fingers like this is so good, or moving your toes.
Yeah.
Moving your
Yeah,
toes
when
and
you work
fingers.
out, all these workout programs,
Uh-huh.
they tell you to do this when they tell you this.
So any muscle you contract is going to move electricity inside your body. So that's why working out, doing asanas is like really good. Asanas are specifically designed to circulate energy in your body, because asanas are not random movements. They didn't just come up thinking, oh, we're going to work on this muscle. If you go to Rishikesh now, everybody's an anatomy teacher. They don't know anything about yoga, okay? So
Let's not talk about that. It's a whole different podcast about Rishikesh and yoga and the TTC and
anyway,
whatnot.
the thing is, you've lost the essence, the electrical essence of yoga, that all of these postures are helping you to gather electrons. That's what they're doing. When you sit in particular ways, if you sit with your hands like that, then you create a movement of electrons in your shoulder and neck, and you'll get relief after some time of whatever pain you're having.
All these things are reminding me of my time when I was on bed. I recovered through yoga and I recovered through
How did you end up on the bed?
I slip disc.
That's another loss of electrons.
Yeah, so it happened out of nowhere. I wasn't doing any physical activity, nothing. But I had to be on 10 months bed rest for that. And I rejected surgery. I was like, I'm not going to have that.
Good.
That also, then I started to study about disc and like what is it made out of, etc. That time the yoga teacher I had, he told me to do this for releasing this neck release, and he was like, just do this. And I was like, how is it gonna, this thing, applying my head to it. But
You
he's
know
like,
that the
"No, do
entire
it."
long muscle, which is called extensor spinae or something like that, I don't know these names, okay? There's a big long muscle down the spine. When you press this, that whole muscle gets into tension. And when it does squeeze like that, these muscles are called piezoelectric semiconductors, are muscles. So when they squeeze, they create a flow of electrons, and that's what healed your spine, I guess.
That's what. So there were simple movements that I was doing. Some with the help of him because I wasn't able to lift my leg also, and some by myself. That healed me. It took time, but it healed my spine.
That's how massage heals, by piezoelectric effect. Done along the electrical conduction lines, like for example, Thai massage. They use the same nadis that we do. They have the same names also.
Marma, Abhyanga, and
Marma is another electrical point, which you
Mm.
can, if you press it repeatedly, it creates things. Like even for things like hair growth, we can have marma. So it's aimed at your finger. The marma is at the end of your finger. If you just go like this, like clockwise 100 times and anti-clockwise 100
So
times.
this is what it was. So my mother and
Asked you to do this?
yeah, my mother and her sisters and the daughters of the sisters used to do this.
This is also same thing.
Like this,
Yeah.
and they would say this will produce like hair.
It does.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it feels good also after.
It feels great. It feels wonderful because things are going to your brain. All you need to do is rub them like this. This is also good. It's the same electrical conductive path. This is also good. Just go in small circles and you'll start seeing a change in your hair. So there are various such things in yoga where you can, it's called Visarjana Kriya, where you get rid of the poisons and then you start taking in electrons. And everything frees up when you're electrically charged up. You have some terrific strength, physical strength. Like there's a video of all the girls in Makara smashing bricks. Like
I saw Divya's video.
I saw Divya's,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
It was very. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, we missed one or two people's level more, but then we didn't have video.
Okay.
But I think we should do it properly next time because people haven't seen
Yeah.
girls smashing bricks. They haven't seen.
Yeah.
So this power, especially women's power, women can generate 64 times more electricity than men. Like I explained to you last time, 64 times more energy. Energy is electricity.
Correct.
So women can produce 64 times more electricity. We should be formidable in battle if you really had your full electric powers. At the peak of your ovulation, you'll be able to defeat a man in a fight if you train properly, you know. So this is the missing knowledge people don't have. And yeah, like food advice, like I don't even care if you're vegetarian or not, you know, because if you wanna eat vegetables, eat it in season. Don't eat something out of season, like make an achar and then eat it out of season. It's not a good idea because that, when it goes back, a plant takes in light and water and carbon dioxide and it makes glucose and it makes cellulose and it makes fiber and it makes everything else that it makes with these key ingredients and some minerals, and it carries those minerals and everything in it. Most importantly, it carries the ultraviolet light which was used to make inside the glucose. So the moment the glucose goes into your body or any of the plant material goes into your body, whether starch or fiber or whatever, they're all the same molecule. Starch and glucose are basically the same molecule. And even fiber is the same molecule, thicker. That's all. So a tree is basically glucose. Everything about the tree is just glucose. And even the plant is water and glucose. That's it, nothing else, mostly.
Correct.
And some minerals, which give it color and all that. So when you eat these vegetables, you release that same ultraviolet light from the season which it was harvested. So now if you suddenly release a summer's ultraviolet light in winter, your body goes out of whack because it's using light as signaling in order to know how to distribute energy. It doesn't know otherwise. And then it starts distributing energy haphazardly, and all sorts of mental and physical problems come from eating out of season and eating after sunset. If you eat after sunset, you do the same thing. You're releasing ultraviolet light at night in your body. So your body is going to be fully confused and do all sorts of weird things. It's like giving two different signals to some device, which are opposite. Let's say you got a remote control car and you have two remote controls. One is pushing it forward, one is pushing it back, and it's trying to respond to both. It goes into spasms. It just sits there.
Correct.
That's what people are doing. If you find yourself just sitting there in your life and you're settled and nothing is happening, it's because you got two opposite electrical signals. You've seen some stories. I mean, maybe from your heart you feel you have freedom, but you've seen some stories that say you can't. somebody, you showed your astrology chart to someone and they said, no, you're undergoing this dasha and that dasha, you can never have freedom. And this is not good for you. So you believe that shit. And now, instead of, look, there's not a single thing in the world that can't be done. If you have knowledge, if you have enough communication to get other people to help you, there's nothing that can stop you. Whether it's your health or anything else, every problem is a communication problem, really, at the end of the day. But that's another topic. But food in general, that's the thing with plants. You have to be careful that they're in season. But animals are always in season.
Correct.
You're eating it on the day it was killed.
That's what happened with me. Now I only eat fish
Hmm.
and I'm very happy because basically they're not allowed to catch fish from Ganga. So they go to the streams nearby, whatever streams are there, and they catch from there and they bring. I have never had anything that soft in my life. Real fish, which is not poultry food.
Oh, the mountain fish is charged up with energy.
It
It's
is
electron
so
rich.
soft, and when I eat that, then I cook it myself.
You know what? The soft thing is fat. That's
Okay.
why.
I thought it was protein.
No, that's why it's giving you a lot of electrons. It's good for you.
Yeah, I can't explain to people how I feel after and I am enjoying that meal and I'm feeling like this is food. Like
Yes.
you really, I'm like this.
This is what the Bhagavad Gita says is food. Snigdha and what is the other word that he uses? I don't know, but it translates to juicy and fat. Fat and
Yeah, there is this thing paragraph.
what is sattvic food?
Correct.
It's the one which gives you the most electrons, saturated fat.
So it's
Saturated
not
fat
really
fits that.
vegetarian food.
No, where coconut is. There are
Some of
vegetarian,
them,
some of
yeah.
them, yeah. But not avocados maybe. But that's it. And if you're eating avocados like in all season, it grows from somewhere, or you're importing it from some other country and all, it's going to absorb a different variety of ultraviolet light. It's okay if it's grown where you live. If it's grown in the mountains and you're eating it in the plains, you have a problem already. So people are doing this because now it's easy to transport food. They're eating.
I think it's also greenwashing psychological marketing that if you eat honey from mountain in
You'll get mountain ultraviolet light.
in Mumbai, then you will get some better honey. But they will not just go to.
That's the
Nagpur
wrong
to
thing
get-
to have. Wrong thing to have mountain honey when you're in the plain. When you come to the mountain, you have. When you're in the plain, eat your plain honey. Don't eat mountain honey. So
Yes,
this is a
my
confusion.
so there is like in every 6 months, I'm from Madhya Pradesh, MP,
Hmm.
and all we grow there is jowar and bajra. And jowar we eat in summertime, and bajra we eat in winter time.
Yeah, when it grows. Correct.
It grows. My mother used to again by communication got some certain farmers who will give her the honey which is grown in the nearby forest, and then who will give her the bajra and this thing. And luckily we grew up eating all of that. So we had bajra ka khichda with like ghee on it.
Ghee.
Yeah.
Electrons.
So the carb is there, protein is, everything is there in that. And
There's no protein, but it has fat. There's hardly any protein.
in bajra.
You don't have to eat tons of protein. You know? This monkey took my bananas, is eating bananas.
Yeah.
No.
This also I wanted to come to because this protein mania.
Anyone thinks that vegetarians don't have energy, come and see the monkeys in Rishikesh.
Yeah. Yeah, they're creating nuisance everywhere.
Look, you should do what the monkey does if you want to be vegetarian. Be out in the sun all day and be grounded to the floor with bare feet. This is what you have to do if you want to eat vegetarian.
Correct.
Because otherwise the deuterium will not go out of your body. Fruits are high in deuterium. Those who eat fruits and don't exercise are going to get really bad cancer, I'm telling you. It's not the sugar that causes the cancer. It's the deuterium. The tree stores all the deuterium in the fruit because the fruit grows big. Anything that gets deuterium starts growing big. So if you're getting fat, it means you have too much deuterium. You're growing big. And if you don't sweat it out every day like a sauna or exercise, profound exercise like yoga where you really sweat it out. Why do we sweat more in yoga? People go to gym and they lift weights and they don't sweat so much like you sweat in yoga. Because it's moving electrons and it's pushing out all the deuterium. And then I see some yoga guru saying, rub that sweat back in. What is this? Why do you want the deuterium to get back in? What's going on? Have a bath, damn it. Take that deuterium off. And you'll stink less also.
If body is throwing something out, I don't know how you should Take it and
This
put it back.
auto urine therapy and all that. They'll pick out some fake text saying Shiva only said that you should drink your own urine.
Oh, I can't. Well, I've had my experiences with people in life who use Shiva to justify anything.
हाँ, anything. हाँ. Ganja piyo, Shiva bole, bas.
Yeah, that very prominently.
That was bham bole. They made a photo, they made a painting also of Shiva with a chilla. I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Shiva is not some junkie, man.
yeah.
What is this?
With like steroid biceps and all that, and like, oh, I know.
Which junkie have you seen with biceps?
Correct.
You don't have the motivation to go work out.
And actually, I think they lose weight even more.
Yeah.
I've
You lose your appetite smoking up. So, that means the tobacco makes you lose appetite. The weed gives you munchies. It wants you to eat more. So, most of them have fat. They don't have biceps.
That's what I've seen. They'll smoke up and then they'll want to munch on something. So then they'll munch on something and then in the morning they'll regret and then that's the new guilt which is induced and then that guilt will take them again to
Tell them
smoke.
not to worry because you're going to die soon with this lifestyle.
Yeah.
A lot of people contact me. I'm addicted to this. I'm addicted to that. I'm like, don't worry, you'll die soon. And then they're like, I thought you'll give me some yogic kriya. I said, no, you're addicted because you have no purpose in life. Get the purpose and do something.
Correct.
Yeah.
I think the sunlight aspect that we talked about. I remember you mentioned in one of your podcasts that there are people who directly consume sunlight also, and you have had practiced that also.
I know a guy called Elitum. He does this. He doesn't eat. He hasn't eaten in 18 years. Only sunlight and barefoot everywhere. Walking across Africa barefoot. He's got so much melanin that even if you put a small light, he'll absorb it. He's like that. He's so black.
Wow.
When he used to live in the US, he was so sick he'd got cancer or something. And then he started walking around like half naked with bare feet everywhere. Now he teaches this to people. He doesn't know why it's working. He doesn't know the science. But he teaches this and he's quite amazing. He teaches Qigong basically. Teaches people how to draw energy from the earth. I already taught you.
Yeah.
I only taught you the path of how it's going back there and then send out all the dirty stuff when you breathe out. That's why it's Nadis Shodhan. Okay, it gets rid of the dirty stuff, which is basically the protons that you don't need. And it charges you up with electrons. Did you know that meditating on Om can increase your electrons? There are 4 ways to chant Om. The first way to chant Om is loudly, like we do. Vaikhari. Om. You pull it. Okay? I don't understand what is Aum. Aum is going on. After some time it becomes Am. And it's Om. I know when they have a Sandhi, and it's a magical thing in Sanskrit called Sandhi. When two energies combine, it forms a third energy called O. Take that. And then it contains 3 different, consciousnesses called Taijasa and Vaishwanara. Vaishwanara is the A, Taijasa is the U, and Prajna is the M. Vaishwanara would be your things that you perceive with your sthula indriya, your gross senses. And Taijasa is what you perceive with your subtle senses. So what's a subtle sense? Like some people can hold their phone and understand if it's on airplane or not.
Oh,
You feel that. That's called subtle sense.
And I feel pukish if
Women have more subtle sense than men.
Yeah.
Like, that is why women are supposed to be full of wisdom prajna. Because Taijasa plus Vaishwanara leads to prajna, which is wisdom. What does that mean? When you can sense more things, you have more data, you can predict better futures. That's called intuition. That's the value of women in this world. But here it's like, become as insensitive as a man and become a man. That's what you have to, that's what's happening here. And women are, of course, like I told you, if the woman tries to become a man, you know what she'll become, right? Slightly inefficient man. She'll never become a man. So that's the thing. That's what Om is. It's all about, Om is about your senses and your wisdom. But it's also about electrons because it's called pranava. And it is, in the Linga Puran, it's said that it is a mantra for Shiva, Om. Whereas Uma is a mantra for Devi. So there's Om and Uma. Both you can chant. Both will give you electrons. Both are a kind of pranava. they increase your electricity. Okay. So as you keep chanting Om, Vaikhari is how you chant it loudly. Madhyama is saying it in your mind. It's 108 times more powerful than Vaikhari. So now you can't see me chanting, but I am chanting in my mind. And I keep increasing my electrons, So you can feel the difference. I'll try to channel it into your hand. Give me your hand. Yeah, just hold it far away like this, okay? So now you can feel there's a certain amount of electrons already. But now when I start saying, how does that feel? A lot of energy, right? And I'm going to do it mentally. That's 108 times more energy. Okay? I'm not even kidding. Now it's going to get 108
This
times.
hand automatically.
Don't worry, it's not going to hurt you. It's good
Yeah,
energy, okay?
I know.
It's going everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm going to do it in Pashyanti, where what it is I'm seeing the letter Om. That's it. I'm seeing the letter Om going into your hand. And this is 108 times more than that also. Okay? And then finally there's
so
para.
electric.
Yes. It's a lot of electrons.
It is, so my hand does not want to move.
Okay, wait, there's more. 108 times of that is para chanting, where I think of saying Om, but I don't say it. That means just before you pick up a glass of water, there's already a lot of energy moving in you to pick it up.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you don't pick it up, what happens to that energy? It's electrons, okay? So the thought of chanting Om, but not chanting it, that's all. That's what when I started vibrating. This is para. You feel this? So this one para chant.
This is so electric. I can't explain. This is so electric.
Yeah, I know.
Wow.
I use this to heal people. I just use Om chanting to heal people.
Oh my
I don't need
God.
pranic healing, Reiki, or any of that stuff.
Wow.
We'll buzz with that for a few days because one para chant is equal to 12,59,712 Om chants loudly.
So for this, I don't even want to speak now. I just feel so.
Yeah. And it'll settle everywhere, it'll go all over your
Yeah,
body.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
moving slowly.
For hours, you'll feel this buzz now.
I think for para to, because you said that it has to be the thought.
Yeah.
And you don't really.
Yeah, a lot of people get confused about it. Look, there's a bottle of water here and you want to reach to it. You're just thinking about it. I want to reach that bottle of water. There'll be energy moving in your hand to reach it. Can you feel that?
Correct.
Similar thing when I say I'm going to chant Om. Something starts moving.
Yeah.
That's a para chant.
I thought it was anxiety.
No.
Is what I thought.
It's not anxiety. That's a para thought that created all that movement in your body. That's not anxiety. There's no such thing called anxiety. It's just excess energy. And then it crashes. Then it becomes depression. Then you have a manic depressive.
Yeah, correct. And I think coffee also has
Coffee is the worst.
its part to play in this. From experience, I'm saying, because
Coffee has a molecule called caffeine, which is pretty similar to all the other amides like nicotine and even heroin and all of these, cocaine.
okay.
All of these, they just release excessive adrenaline in you. That's the physical, scientific, gross part that we can see. But actually, it releases dams of prana which you don't need. It's like a flood. So, coffee is a flood. So, it's dose dependent. You should know how much coffee to have for optimum and at what time. And then you can ride on it like a wave if you know what you're doing. If you don't know what you're doing, you don't know your own cycles as a man, you don't know your own cycles as a woman. A woman on her ovulation can have coffee and then Send that ovulation 3-4 more days, that
Which
energy.
is what I am at right
You
now.
have coffee
And
in your periods, you're going to suffer.
so at my periods, when I had coffee once, my
Then more
cramps
cramps.
went more.
Yes.
It was,
Yes.
yeah, it was
Look,
horrible.
so how does something get dislodged? It shakes like this electrically. That's how the uterus is coming off. So there's a big electrical pulsation there. You just leave it alone to nature and don't do anything to encourage it too much. Because if you stimulate yourself saying, okay, today is my period, I saw the stay free ad, I'm going to go to, I don't know where. There's a lot of treks to do here. Pick one. Okay, so that's what you shouldn't do. When you do stimulating things like that, then the electricity in your body becomes more, the vibration is more, like horrible cramps.
Yeah, yeah.
So even if you got anxiety about something on that day, that's why don't make women work during periods, just leave them alone. Don't give them stress. If you give women stress during period, the pain becomes more because of these electrical reasons. Stress is nothing but you releasing a lot of energy and you don't know what to do with it. So what happens? It just goes through your nadis and shakes everything up and then you just can't function, right? There's something like saturation of energy. Like if I have too much petrol and then not enough room to even ignite it, then that won't work. There's nowhere for it to burn. So everything needs space. And that's how my guru explained Rajas, Tamas, Sattva to me, right? Rajas is the flame that comes in your lamp. The oil is Tamas. And the lamp itself is Sattva.
The whole thing.
The lamp itself, the shape that it's made and that wick, that is Sattva, that design.
So sattva by nature is creative.
Yeah. Sattva is where you control Rajas and Tamas to get an optimum Rajas and an optimum Tamas. Tamas is your potential energy, Rajas is your kinetic energy. Sattva is the design which allows you to get that. And the design is what we do with our day every day. We put plans on our timeline. That's our design. Like you said, you're going to come here at 2, but then there was a big traffic jam because it's Sunday. And so now you came later. So that's the timeline. So now you've adjusted your timeline. You're like, okay, jo hoga hoga, we'll shoot whatever we can. So you've adjusted your timeline, now you're relaxed. So the design of the timeline has to match reality.
Correct. And when it does not match reality,
Doesn't match reality,
yeah.
then you'll get Rajasic, Tamasic, all sorts of things. Rajasic is called anxiety, Tamasic is depression. That's what you'll get.
And when we understand this and then when we look at our system, how it is designed.
It's designed to stress you.
Yeah, it is.
It's designed to produce infinitely. Doesn't give cycles of rest to nature also. You're also supposed to fast here, Navratri, I know, fast no. Just like relax. You're supposed to not strain yourself. Sit in one place and read Devi Bhagavatam. And eat vegetarian food. If you want to really celebrate Navratri like that. Like in like a recharge kind of way. Now I'm doing something very Rajasic with my students this time, so I'm going to be eating meat in this Navratri. Depends on what you're doing. You know, but people are thinking that it's like other religions, you know, like Christianity has rules and the 10 commandments and Islam has some certain haram and halal and they have certain rules.
Correct.
But it's nothing like that. In Hinduism, it doesn't exist. You got to read whatever Puran you want and then apply it. If you want to please that aspect of God, because say Shankaracharya said that there are so many faces to God. And Hinduism is the only one, Sanatana Dharma is the only one that recognizes so many faces.
It's a love affair, I think.
It is, yeah. I mean, why wouldn't you want to meet God in so many forms? Because we also come in so many forms.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a child, you're in one form. Then as an adult, you're in one form. Then you get into another form, whatever form. And so if you like some form, you should be able to hold on to it. Everyone likes the youthful form, but they let it go. Why not holding on to it? Maybe Saturn started aging. It's because you're just losing electrons.
So there's a way people can actually like retain their youth.
Yeah. Design your timeline properly. Most people don't see themselves alive after 100 years in the timeline. All they see themselves like very decrepit, very bad condition 100 years later. And that's what they become. Who told you have to become like that? If you give your body electrons, it can heal faster than it gets damaged. And you don't have to age at all. Everything grows back, teeth grow back, hair grow back, everything grows back. Why you can't grow it back? Your skin will become like moisturized and supple like some teenager. How? Eyes will get all moisturized. And your power in your eyes goes away when people practice yoga, like real yoga, okay? Not anatomy.
Yeah.
Like anatomy classes are going on in the yoga TTCs. I can't believe it.
I've seen people doing their TTC in the morning and then sitting in the cafe, having coffee in the afternoon, eating pasta and bread.
Good job.
And I'm and
That's going to increase your deuterium like anything. And it's going to reduce your energy. That's exactly the opposite effect of we want of practicing yoga. And today I've given so many methods to increase electrons. But you know what leaks the electrons the most? Bad communication.
oh yes.
That's what leaks electrons the most. That's how people lose most of their energy. Like I've spoken to so many healers who are in tune with what I'm saying, and they all agree with me upon this one thing, that they notice their clients coming with the worst energy on the days they've had a fight with their husband or wife, or at the office or whatever. Some crap disagreements because people can't communicate. If you have a proper context for what you're communicating right in the beginning, that's like a hook in an ad, you know, that one thing that you say that sets the context. And then you communicate within that context, you'll never have a problem. And people don't take the 1 second to set a context. They directly start talking what's in their mind without relating to where the other person is. So they haven't grown up from when they were kids and they were like, no, it's all about me, man, and then they make a fuss. Adults are just throwing tantrums with each other.
There's no consideration for the other, like in this aspect. Yeah.
Like communication is a two-way exchange of information. It got to be on the same level for that. You can't say this person is lower than me and I'm going to communicate with him like one way. Or if that person is higher than me, I won't communicate at all. Even not communicating is communicating.
Correct.
What are you communicating when you don't communicate?
Energy?
It can be either fear or it can be hatred. You're communicating two negative things when you don't communicate. So you should communicate intentionally, because if you don't, it'll happen automatically. And guess what you have stored inside automatically? Shit stories.
Yeah.
Nobody reads the Puranas. Nobody gets up at 3:30 like me and reads the Puranas for 2 hours. They don't want to, because it's not cool. I don't know why. What's cooler than the Puranas? Tell me.
Yeah.
Tell me if there's another piece of literature like Puranas in the world. Why are you pushing that Shakespeare up my nose? What was it?
Nadis Shodhana.
Nadis Shodhan from Shakespeare. Read the Puranas, damn it.
After speaking to you on that podcast, I myself have ordered Devi Bhagavad. I was
You have?
yeah,
Okay.
I was waiting for Navratri and I was like, let's do it. It's time.
Ah, awesome, awesome.
That's why I asked you about the Sanskrit this thing also, because I want to read it like that, because I don't want to read
I
it.
have an English and Sanskrit version because my Sanskrit speed is slower than my English. So I read the English, and suddenly if the English is not making sense, I'll read the Sanskrit. Because suddenly Devi will say that these are the weapons that I gave women. And then you really want to know what they are.
Yeah.
But the English translation is way off mark.
Yeah.
They don't know how to translate it. So then you have to really use your Sanskrit and your Indian genes and your connection to your ancestors and translate it.
Correct. That I have myself felt this with language, especially and Hindi language, because there are certain words in Hindi language which, if you are grown up with, you will be able to understand some part of Sanskrit. Even what are they trying to say?
Yes, every language, including Tamil, but the Tamilians will not admit it. They have a lot of Sanskrit words. Arambikyalama.
Arambha.
Aram kare kya?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's full of tayar kilama, tayar kare kya. So it's all there in Tamil, and they're like, no, we are a different language and we have nothing to do with Sanskrit. That's been going on for a long time.
Yeah, the debate is.
There's a debate going on, is this Kali Yuga or not? I mean, look around, look at the traffic jam and tell me, go. Is it Kali Yuga or not?
It is definitely.
So there's one way, like you keep on arguing about some scholarly things and your experience is there, no?
Correct.
My experience of Tamil is that there's a lot of Sanskrit words in it.
But there are also people now who are waking up slowly to reality. That's the reason they're having the podcast also. That's the reason. There are sect of people who are waking up to reality, who are trying to better their human life and experience.
Absolutely.
Also happening in this era. So I really feel that we are in some shifting.
Cusp.
Something is shifting. I don't know what, but something is shifting for sure. That is for sure because I feel it every day.
Yeah.
Because even if you want to talk, as you said, communication. If you want to talk to somebody, because the kind of work that I do, I have to talk to so many people. So when you talk to them, they first of all come with the whole sense of entitlement, and they come with sense of perception already about something. These are the things people come with. So you have to first little
Correct. Biases.
dig with that. In earlier times, people used to resist it. Now people don't really resist it that much. They're able to understand. So
I mean, it depends. It depends on where you live, I guess.
yeah, I think in Rishikesh, anyways, people come with a
Yeah.
mindset.
I mean, it's not ever going to be all bad. But
Yeah.
you look at the environment, it's getting worse and worse. It's not
Yeah.
getting any better. It's written there. It's written after 5,000 years of Kali Yuga, people will forget about God. They won't rely on God at all.
It's been
It's
5,000
happening.
years. Yeah. Yeah.
There's like some terrific atheism, right? This morning, a girl called me, one of my students, she messaged me saying, I'm having trouble, Guruji, I've got to go from Australia to India and I'm just scared to fly. I'm just scared to go there. And what if I go there and I don't want to come back? And it's like all sorts of fears, okay? First she said, I have a lot of fear. I have a lot of fear. Is there any kriya I can do for fear? I said, yeah, there's a kriya. It's called be honest about what you're afraid about. What the hell are you afraid about, So start telling me what you're afraid about and put it in as questions. What you're feeling as fear is actually just a big energy come for learning. Use that energy for learning. It's not fear. Bollywood told you that it's fear. Because, Hollywood, palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy. That shit is called fear, is it? No?
Yeah.
It's not. It's your hunger to learn. You have to understand that this is your hunger to learn. So I told her, listen, if you just convert it into questions, you'll sleep well tonight. And so she converted it into many questions. What if this? What if that? What if this? What if that? I just answered all her questions. And she got all the answers. And then now you feel fear and show me. It's like I'm going to sleep, Guruji, good night. Slept nicely. She's still asleep, I think.
Is the way you approach the thing. It changes. I think.
It's like how you handle the energy.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. And I think we all need to, it's a birthright to know about our energy, man. They're not teaching us in school. There's no class where we're pushing energy and making energy balls and then we're like rubbing it on it or like playing with each other with our body energy.
Yeah.
There's no such class in school. When you see, well, where does Ram have disease? Let's find it and help him. And whatever, whatever kid, Akash or Rama, I don't know what they're called anymore. They're called Ehan and some shit.
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't know these names, but you can see what Tanya has. And you can find out, No, sorry, Tanya is too simple. It's Tinasha or something. Okay. I can't keep up. So,
Bollywood names.
so with all these Bollywood names, you can tell these kids with Bollywood names to actually like say, let's all heal each other today. How about that? Why aren't we teaching them that? Why aren't we teaching them play with energy? Why aren't we teaching them Nadi show then? Let's get rid of the bad things in our mind and body and fill it up with good energy outside. And now let's use our brain to solve a real problem that you all have. What is it? Or just build a bloody tree house. You know how much physics and science they learn just making a tree house? Let them do it. Instead, we put them in and tell them that cos theta, sin theta, and tan theta are going to be the way you're going to make money in this world. And I don't know which one is which now. I've never had to use it. I still know the difference between an isthmus and a peninsula. Why? Why do I know this?
I always used to just pass in mathematics, just no effort. I don't want to put effort.
So it's just filled up with junk knowledge and junk stories.
And language used to excite me so much. In English paper, I'm getting only 3 marks, 2 marks are deducted. Everything is fine. So my father was so perplexed. And physics, very good. Chemistry, very good. Maths is shit. Hindi is also shit. Everything. My father was perplexed. He's like, what is happening here? When they used to check the mark sheets and everything. They used to call my father.
Why are you speaking in English and like falling in all the rest?
What is happening? And I'm like, I don't know. No answer at that time.
You learned the only useful thing, language. Good for you.
And I mean, the Christian school and everything, it's different.
There's nothing useful I learned in school. Like I just can't. Maybe there are. I can like count them on the fingers of one hand.
Yeah.
Useful things I learned in school: language, mathematics.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
They don't even teach you about like team building or like the.
Nope. The
Yeah.
first thing they told me is if you come first in class, that's the best thing you can do here. And I'm like, what kind of selfish goal is this? I don't want to do this. I don't want to leave my classmates behind and come first.
Yeah.
What's this nonsense? I made sure everyone passed.
Correct. We'll come back to food and this melanin I had written down. I can never follow any script anyways. I always
I know, right?
do anything, like I'll try to do anything and then something else happens and it
It's like
actually
people posing for photographs.
yeah.
But if you catch them when they're just talking, and then it looks really great. Right?
Yeah, it looks immensely beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, the lights and
So
everything.
don't worry, your podcast is going great.
Yeah. I want to talk about the melanin and this thing also because with sunlight, because that's our primary source of food. How do we increase that aspect in us? Like
So
how-
melanin is also a photoelectric semiconductor, and when light falls on it, it produces electricity. So it's a big source of electrons for us. Melanin. The more melanin you have, the more electrons you produce. It also means the more sunlight you need to be functional.
Correct.
Darker people need more sunlight to be functional.
Correct.
Yeah. So like you take a dark person and lock him up in a corporation where he get exposed to blue light, he'll become very depressed. The whiter person may not become so depressed. So melanin can lead, like if you don't get enough light and you have a lot of melanin, it's a waste. But if you have a lot of melanin, it's a blessing if you have sunlight. You can be like supercharged. Like you can be the electric master blaster, send electricity across and stuff like, you know what electricity is? Everything, even the 5G and all the transmissions we're getting, we call it kadir in Tamil, radiation. So energy is a radiant thing, okay? I'm going to radiate some to your third eye right now. And you can feel it after some time. Now it's feeling it.
Yeah.
It's a very radiant thing, and I can send it to people across time and space. Like I can schedule a healing for you tomorrow at 8:30, and that energy will come to you at 8:30 tomorrow. And I can tell you be lying down and just relaxed, and then I can heal you from far.
You could have a very quiet mind for that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
that is needed.
Yeah. You don't waste energy. A chattering mind is the one that is fallen prey to emotions. You should not have any emotions. People keep arguing about the value of emotions. This has no value. It's just an energy leak. It's the biggest energy leak. So you should stop that. And emotions are just horrible for you. Like any emotion, it's just not good. We have rasa, aesthetic. And rasa is the element of water. That's what it is. It's a state of water. Rasa is a coherent state of water. Shanta, Veera, and Raudra are the sattvic rasas. These three will form a shape for your energy, a function, a proper timeline, a blueprint. The blueprint is sattva, okay? So we call it ichha also. So these three are the ones which allow you to form a desire. Don't form a desire. Desires will kill you. Do not follow the blueprint to implement it. If you have a blueprint to implement a desire, it's called ichha. Otherwise, it is categorized as lust. People who have desires without a blueprint to achieve this, what are you thinking? You're just going to be so sad when you don't get what you want. You won't get what you want. If you don't have a blueprint for it, so blueprint can be made in these three rasas, these two states of water. Veera rasa and Raudra rasa and Shanta rasa. These are the sattvic states. It's the state of water. It's the structure of water. Now if you change the structure of water in your body and you want to learn, there are only three things that Punasiva: Shringara, Asya, and Admita. Only these three can help me walk. And this is Gyanasha. Clash Rindhara had turned out by sexually turned down like that. You will learn it. You learn everything about it. But there are some subjects I feel like that during your life. It's a turn on for me to understand that. And so, whenever I get into the mood of learning my subjects, I open the Puranas, I'm interested, but I'm excited to see what sexy thing Devi is going to do next. Yeah. And then there is Adbhuta also. Say, wow, what is this? How could this be? My God, there's so much secrets in this. I get really excited. No? I'm opening Linga Pura and I'm like, oh, there's one chapter of how to do Linga Pura, Linga Puja. There is 69 secrets or 70 secrets, something like that. Is up there. You better feel that need, that state of water of Bhakta, and then you can see it. When, so that this is the tamasic stuff. These three are tamasic. Tigara is tamasic, Adbhuta is tamasic, Asya is tamasic. The only other thing time you learn is that you can laugh at their own pickery. If you can find some hasya in your story, if you could retell a horrible day in a way that makes everyone laugh, you learn some freedom better. Yeah, come out with some profound lessons when you can laugh about what went wrong.
Laughter really is, I think, also alchemy of song. It really transforms anything. It doesn't tell you laugh.
The people we love together with at some quality, we bond. More than that we have a common enemy and that we need to stick together to put in, that's the stress. So people uniting for a common cause with a common enemy. A lot of people approach me, Guruji, I also want to finish Aim Pranati. Can I join your organization? No fun.
Yeah.
Like, you got to be hasya, man. I bond on hasya. Like my bonds with people are just hasya. Nothing. That's the biggest part. Okay? There's some people. You can bond with some people with Shungara, you can bond with some people with Apita, but that's only one way. But the moment all of you, then it's only one way. Can you be Shungara out of one day, like, you can be second days of side, can't like. You can bring that up for some temples. It takes a lot of energy. But hasya is something you can be all day. You can be like laughing and chilling about everything all day. It is something to master. It's in your state of water. We've learned to shift the state of water through these 9 aesthetics. If you don't know how to do that, then you don't have access to human power. You're just living like an animal. Pashu. Vidya. Divya is the divine power, is it? When Divya follows, you need to ask of is now Divya Rasa. That there are Rajasic Ratha, 3 more. That in 6 Sotar, Delhi the Sattvic one in the Tamasic one. Sattvic one of Icha. What is Icha? Desire plus blueprint, not just desire. Desire plus blueprint is it.
I mean, we come with a ascolic chart also that we worked out the blueprint.
It's not a blueprint, that's just a scare sheet. People look at it and they get scared, like, oh, this is coming, oh, that is coming, oh, this is stuff. But never get your astrology chart. That's don't do it. Eat this. I'm telling you, whatever you're suffering, the solution is no communication space to get other people help you with the back part. You know. And you're under to learn. So that you can learn it. Because nobody knows how to communicate. Nobody knows how to go and invite help. They struggle with this. Yeah, I'm the founder of this great startup, but I struggle to get funded. You know why? It's only talk. Most people are broke because of funding. So anything that didn't beat me is how to communicate. Then I think. So I decided to become the world's expert on it. And I am. I'm going to launch one course of how to communicate. So I really care that we recover finally from the British land. Recovered yet. Thames Nadi is still running everywhere. You don't know how to respect our gurus too. See someone to come and put Bali. First I used to react or not react, I used to respond and explode with them or play some Hasya. You know, stop that. I realized the only way to stop people who put galis on your YouTube comments, either you disable a comment or you can say, I reject your criticism. What's a forward for all creators who are watching. This side, I reject your criticism. And they don't know what to say to her. I don't know what nobody knows what one day to do this. Aparala.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
Yeah, it's so simple.
So it's all about communication, right? Communication can stop you. It's a martial art. Communication can pull you. Communication can build you with energy. Communication can drop your energy and kill you. It's both healing and spiritual sport communication. So that's what we need to communicate better about your story, about your life. Every Buddhist story is people from Hollywood. It's so sad, the trash references of kitsch literature that we have consumed. Then we think we are learning. In reality, the most sophisticated thing you've read is this crap, whatever it is. You don't know what quality literature is till you read the Quran. And then when you're filled with so many possibilities, why am I worried? And ultimately, it was they're like, you have got Prachanda Nastikta. Intense atheism. That's what we got.
That translates to pessimism in life, I think.
Yeah.
So you have no connection with anything, right? You don't know what about energy. You don't know what about luck. When you want a parking spot, you have to keep riding around in circles and go home. Very fast daily for the spot and then somebody will pack out. You put that down there. But unstoppable when you have it. Okay, so turning back to the work. But rajasic emotions are only three. First is bhayanaka, which means they threaten you and then you do something. This bhayanaka. So that threatening energy state of will look like that. See on the paw? Threatening way. This is bhayanaka. What do you mean bhayanaka? You better have that. Suddenly you get bhayanaka and people will be like, oh, no, I'll do it. I'll do it. So that is Kriya Shakti. And the second one is Ibhatsa. It's such disgust that you go and do something about Kriya Shakti. Disgust motivates you, Bhayanaka motivates others. And then there is Karuna. Karuna is that one which motivates both. In Karuna, what happens is you take creative responsibility. There's a bond between both the deity and the species. So Karuna is a creative appeal. Come to code peers. But then you don't have to motivate the other, they don't have to motivate you, you have to start automatically with it. So even in the tea rasas, there is flavors of the Didu. There's flavors of Digamasi and and this is profound knowledge. Profound knowledge. If you learn the priyas to get into these narrative, when you get to practice Vipalpuri, the mirror Vipalpuri, you easily get into these 9 steps. You've got everything it needs to be a human being. You want to make a desire with a blueprint, you get into about those 3 emotions. Not emotions, but aesthetics or states of being, or the states of vasa in your life. Get into those 3. And we need to invite people. Will scaring people invite them too? Only Karuna will invite. How do you invite people? It's an action. Bhayanaka won't invite. And Bibaksa will not invite. And this Bastaniti is a bad invitation. Only Karuna invites. That's the one you should practice manually. That state of body, the Manishta, that's the one that needs to be the Pritavoda. That's why we should practice math. See, but you need the other stuff too. 5% of it. And you should be an expert in everything. But you won't burn out when you got Karuna. It's like a lot of people live to something. So if there's a 100 kg store and there are 10 people, you all have to live preferentially just back here. I done with even more.
Evolve till Karuna, in fact, that idea of
Selfishness or selflessness are good forms of ego. Too much to remember, man. Tell me text it.
yeah, 108.
108 Purana, sir.
Yeah. There are darshanat and there are. This is why I have to live.
1,500, 600 to have these. Just to bring out our breakfast on this.
But
Took so long. So I'm trying to optimize my life now, so I think focus on this vision. Get it going and get up my teen or Sanskrit pundits who are trained by me. Not just Sanskrit pundits. I want him to be yogi. I want him to have had all the subtle experiences which will help you make sense of. Otherwise, you'll just do some translations from Lord Partex. Translation is a very difficult job. How can you translate the fun text of Puraito? Where they are? Only a yogi is qualified to translate the Puranas and the Vedas. Or the Bhagavad Gita, Ramiti. Not marketeers, not others. It's so rubbish. No yogi, then will get the real meaning. And we won't find this on the internet either. Yeah. It's because I knew yoga. And then when I talk about the scriptures, it has a different flavor. We got a yogic flavor. Here, Vaishya, we talk about the scripture, the Bhava, Timanic there.
correct.
You're Kshatriya and you talk about the scripture with your upper body of brother. Something like that. So the Brahmin and the talk about the skip first, then it's supposed to already read to yourself. That's right. But I seen what goes on in the name of Vedita.
No.
No knowledge of the Vedas above. Just learnt by rote. No real knowledge of the Vedas. Vyasa came and looked at you with deeply custom. Let me promise.
I'm a Kshatriya, so I understand that. Even my perception is about whatever I learn or whatever life teaches me. It's always about okay now. How do I So my podcast is about that. My brand is about that. Everything in my life is about
Protecting
protecting people, protecting the pregnant cycle. Want my brand to be. This is natural. This is what is there.
A Brahmin is supposed to get into the nuts and bolts of things and understand the fundamentals and be like a, or what is that word? Because somebody mentions you need some tips, people.
Poly that.
Wow, poly.
Poly.
Supposed to be a poly. What do you think poly?
I also learned it recently only. It's the first.
Poly. Okay, thanks. So a Brahmin is supposed to be that, you know. And if you're a Brahmin, take pride in it and be that. But don't it just be like nothing to do with what you're supposed to do and then want the privileges of what you're supposed to do. But that's what it is. I get the privileges of being a partner because I'm a guy. You would end up in the language open level. Can you do? It's a matter that the people who pray to Shiva or their subtle senses are all awake. All the priests and all these certain things. Nobody is not allowed to from India research. Right. So you really need to have that kind of energy work. And then walking around with certificates that are not done at all. That's how it could be. So action. That's why Brahmahatya is supposed to be the worst. If you kill a real teacher of the Vedas, it's what's supposed to be the biggest. And anyway, a real teacher of Vedas is not easy to. If you're comfort of that when you did that, then you must be one powerful guy, you deserve Mahapat. That's it, one is a Maha.
Because with great power comes great responsibility. So yeah.
Yeah. So person with great power is not supposed to do Hatya. And especially of Brahman. He's teaching you about God. Guruless countries will go in the better round. Let's just go to that here.
Yeah.
Earlier the countries had Buris this. It would be well because the Buri held up the people to the highest standards because Buri is not interested in money.
That's what happened with Constantine also, I think. Because when he was taken about like his power and everything, he fought the witches and the money. He said that what should I do? Then they told that you should pray to son's daughter and son's wife, I think. Also, because there are Pehiris, the Royal Speedy, and through it's Sirius Mariam, that name comes from that Sirius, that one only. So he started worshipping her and then she told them how to teach the masses, that masses within his control. Because he wanted more tax. Then the intention was wrong, but it still did what he did. because he wanted control. So then he got Christianity, like established a setter, kept all that following. You love the story. But then,
But the problem when religion starts to get organized,
yeah,
so it loses its control.
that's what he did, yeah.
Everybody needs an in-between man to talk about.
This is, yeah.
It's about human creativity. The greatest knowledge is not magic. Magic with another human. There is something creative. Have in your mind. Whether you edit everyone. Time was saved, or coding, or right. Time or energy. All of these things can be merged with another game. Another creates sleeping today. This is the experience, even the born. The devas keep being born here to experience this. And so, what's boring in heaven? Nothing bad happens. So nothing to laugh about, nothing to cry about, nothing to do anything about.
Yeah.
Nothing to conquer, nothing to win, nothing to lose. What kind of life is that? How does it begin? How does it end? And it's just there in a state of stasis of pleasure. Then what would be so hot? The pleasure become boredom so bad. So then the gods want to complain. Then the king. From the nothing Shiva cuts it. Yeah, pretty Shiva is very bored.
Wow.
So he creates Pradhana. When Shakti starts emitting light, so here is it. The red, white, blue, powerless sun. Love. From then from the four, relax. I just tell us when they have tempo, the senior replied, he says, and so there's the good. And they start playing 6, 8. Every bija becomes a G-dog. And then Devi releases Sikr. Maybe June, for each one. So there has many universes where Abhijas, where we cannot support the Tiva from also.
Correct. Every human will do work for me. Every because
It's your own Yasra as up, at the up, eat the other day. This time you guys tell me. Creating. None of the take. Recreating it is not even coordinated. That's the joy when you actually coordinate your universe with someone else. So you become two gods inside me.
go with the joy.
Minimum to say. It integrated as in movie will be on a different level. And sexually integrate with conversing. You can die of aggression, you can taboo.
Yeah.
Quickly. But you can intellectually integrate it. You can integrate with the school notice by making things direct. And you can integrate with energy, make it in the material. You can integrate with all. You can integrate it there, like the feedback in the space.
Yeah.
And then you can make it a learning. Where you going to learn? Only when you're okay.
Yeah.
How well can you say learn?
I don't know this.
It's actually an energy. Yeah, that's what you feel is most scared. I don't know. It's the biggest fear in the world.
Yeah.
Tell me, one person says, I know, but I'm scared. When you know something, how can you be scared of it? Even if it's a scary thing for others, it's not scary for you. You know it. You go to the village and then they're making people run in the Shiva temple on coals. They're running on coals. Because they said, hey, Shiva, if you get me married to this girl, then I'll run on coals for you to stay. That's a promise made me. And that. So then they're running on those coals. First before. Oh. The person goes there with fear, they'll burn oneself. But here, that in some of the relatives, they just connected by a creative thought. Shiva. We create this for he. We just entertain. I'll be the best human being I can per second. Something to put experience here.
Yeah.
They don't think a dancing at there. What is this divine stuff where you at? How are people able to take such pain and integrate? That is when you stop, when a bird gets interested in that creation. So a bunch of human beings are doing something, the bird gets interested in that. Bird is like investor looking at it.
Angel invest.
Angel, so literally. God is an angel investor in product. But if you're showing up with that no try in this world, he or she is not going to investor. Must be Devi that most interesting one. Oh, that's sexy or not? There's all the help to it says, see? You know? Like that. Sticking you up. She's never been to this guy. What has she done? Uppy. It's okay. The recycles. Messi, that's the best guy. When your communication is so good and so compassionate, no much sharana, that is just inviting everybody into a creative partnership with everybody. Everybody wants to work with you, you want to work with everybody, and it's happening. When you have this kind of creative partnership where it's very productive. This kind of feeling, you can't get it to a one romantic part, but shooting as well. You got to be a views in the world. That's the serotonin that you're actually looking for than on party. Doesn't work. You can get that high. Felt only, but then to focus and achieve. Shows you how much accomplished you are. You never look childhood for, and you be in an accomplished way. You cannot behave in an accomplished way like that without having a very high serotonin level. And how do you do that? Only by actual accomplishment. You can hatch serotonin by putting someone down, would increase your serotonin, but even your auto reject food, you're going to crash your serotonin. That's why when these guys come and say to put shit at that, reject your opinion. That word reject is making it rejected. One guy is telling me today it's good at a blood. It's okay for everybody. Good for everyone. It's good for everyone. These people are. Say things as they are. For us, there's confusion in communication. Otherwise, you're communicating to someone that you like them and you don't. And you're communicating that you kind of neutral towards those you actually like. Because you don't communicate. You can't get it, we can't get it. They really know what a baby knows the thing to compound. Because nobody speaks honestly at us. Dishonesty is the enemy of conversation. Be honest in your communication. If you do something, you should say shit. Be blunt. You detain your enemy. Don't draw it.
That's all media. That's the food.
Who knew that food you eat every day? Yes. So we are for a cosmic journey. We are a cosmic journey. It's us as sparkling to space. We're riding in that ball. Who are you? God. That's who you are. You have creative powers that you cannot imagine. And what are you doing with it?
Man, I've lost punching. I have lost punch out.
Go punch yourself. Wake up.
Yeah. It's a good point to wrap this podcast up because I'm hoping they are trying to improve the other one also.
Yeah, sure. I can think of what I'd be that.
Yeah, thank you. Guruji, as usual, thank you so much. We started from foods and we ended upon energy and the whole review was just ecstatic because
I mean, it's a great part.
yeah, I think you've shared a lot of prayers in the city really like it.
I do, man. I give generously. That means practice, okay? I don't want anything bad, but like, you guys practice to become fabulous and you make my life easy. Because I won't be so busy, like, solving a problem, but I can actually sit and sculpt something, like. So I want to do it. I make some crazy tantric sculptures. But it's pointing and saying, I don't have time now because everyone's like crying about this and that and I don't fix it, but then I'm buying cells. I'll fix dollars, and then I make spell. Then I make temples. That's what I want to do. How far am I color? Very far.
because of everybody.
Because the people not revising. Now they'll learn, they'll feel very learned from this camera. But we need to revise this. You should watch this podcast again and again. Just revise. I learned it. One of the people was not learning. I caught her, I cornered her, and I asked her, why are you not learning? And then it came down to, after 3 hours of discussions, it came down to, this is the dog. It's,
Please revise, learn.
please revise. The more you revise, the more free I'll get.
Yeah.
You guys become learned, you know the shit I'm doing, man. Because I want to make sculpture basically. But I was thinking around, but well, so entertained. Or sculptures and temples. That's my word. But I think temples should be center of learning. You come there and you get energy for free now. Temples are free energy. But they're not hip enough for like people to go. I don't know what's up with people. I think they're great. There is this temple here, the Hanuman temple, and the Tinsel Pratin Mandir over here. The vibes you get from there, you'll get so charged up in energy. Go on a Monday, go 3 times around Shiva, go lie down there, or with your head facing the north and also facing the deity, and just lie around there for like 5 seconds. You get a big charge of energy and you come back. Every Monday you can go charge yourself up enough therapy. But there is Shiva temple. You can both.
I went to Vashish Gupa also, and this happened to me.
There's a magnetic hotspot.
Yeah, that happened to me in Arundhati Gupa. I sat there and I just, मतलब body पूरा नीचे जा रहा था अपने आप. And then 15-20 minutes passed. My friend was waiting for me down there. Like there are steps you go up. So he just waiting down, and some pujari came and was visiting at place that I can just because he had to do a puja. So but after that I couldn't move because I wanted to just sit. So I just came niche and then I just sat there. You can't move after that kind of energy. Like, what happened?
Arundhati is your Nadi as well, which is the inside of the Sishimna Nadi. This is the Nadi which carries your sexual energy of praying, like Kundalini. So, if you go sit in Arundhati Gufa for too long, where Arundhati Nadi start widening to 4 fingers wide, okay, then all sorts of things will happen.
So originally the spine was bending. I was just
The spine now, your Nadis are not strong enough because you didn't join my 60-foot Upadas, okay?
yes. Correct.
But if you get like physically strong, I must send you the brick breaking by chicks video. You watch it and then join my course. Because if you're not having a strong physical body, also Nadi will bend wherever I said the things you happen. Once it's physically very strong, burn all these places, Arundhati will return muscles. But if you have bad posture, it will that keep begging for it.
Yeah, that's the same thing happened with me. I went over. And then I couldn't move for like a good hour. I just couldn't move to the
So
door.
let me fix your body.